Man, I got this crazy message for you. It was after a moment of Kathleen going, yippee! Or actually, let me say in her better words,
Yahoo!
Yahoo! So she said that, and I was like, you know what? Let me adjust my glasses here for a moment. For the person who's been building and building and building, and then you say to yourself, do I get back up and build again? Here's what I know to be true. And I'm going to ask Kathleen to speak to it because we just finished hanging out together and having an amazing story mapping day. But there's been many chapters in my own life where I've built, and I feel like I'm trying to build something. And I'm like, am I in year 2? Am I in year 3 on this? When am I going to see it come to life? When does this actually happen? And you're like, I got pieces of the puzzle, but I don't have the whole puzzle. Let me tell you when you know that you're in the right zone. And let me also say, every human on this planet, before you go, your goal should be to make sure you're in the right zone. You don't just build something, that you build something that fuels you here. I've had the luxury of having Kathleen a part of my world and just knowing who she is for quite some time. But I watched her come alive today. You said something that I don't think I've ever seen you say. She went, Yahoo! Yippee! And it sounds simple. It sounds simple. But the truth is that, like, when you're building something or you're in the midst of building something and it feels good here, focus on that. Stop focusing on this, because this will only get you so far, and this is going to leave you with more pieces of a puzzle. This is going to leave you with a roadmap. Because it ties into purpose, life's calling. Because like you could serve the whole world, but now we know that based on your own story, you don't need to serve the whole world. You just need to serve the person that feels here. So this is my message. Simple message. Now, the Kathleen, she's going to teach and school us on something, because I believe success leaves clues. And the truth of the matter is that as long as I've been alive, I've not walked through yet some of the amazing things that Kathleen has. So we're going to interview Kathleen because she's always doing the interviewing. I'm going to interview Kathleen. We're going to learn from wisdom, absolutely, and she's going to school you. So get out your pen and paper and take some notes. All right, Kathleen.
Hi.
Dun, 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 dun. Look at that, people. You see that? Did you see that? Okay, so Kathleen, first thing, for the woman she's on her way to 50, what's your number one message to her? Your number one message to the woman who's almost 50 and she's still putting her dreams on the back burner.
Stop it. It's time. Get them off the shelf. Stop wasting the time, because you're running out of time. And that's, if you don't do it now, it won't happen.
Number one reason why women put themselves second in ministry, women related to ministry, women who come from a foundation of ministry, why do they put themselves second?
That's what we've been taught. It's the implication that everybody else comes first.
Did you hear that? Hold on. I don't want you to go past that. That's what we've been taught. She is so right. But we've been taught it where? Everywhere.
Yeah, everywhere. It comes from the ministry settings that we're in. It comes from family. It comes from our culture.
Mm-hmm.
And, women are there to serve, not to get their dreams met.
Get their dreams met. So in this idea, so you have your story, okay? And in your story, you say to yourself, well, do I really put myself first, second? And the answer is yes. Because what happens if you don't? 30s turns into 40s, 40s turns into your 50s, 50s turns into your 60s. And being in your 60s is not bad, but being in your 60s and you're still serving the world and not serving yourself, that's just tough. Number one reason why I believe that the planet still has a deficit is because we have an entire culture of women who are being taught and continue to be taught to put themselves second and not to consider themselves as a possibility of ever being first, ever being whole. Okay, we've been taught this. And I'm not saying that women, the idea is that women need to trump men. I don't want anyone to hear that I'm saying that. But the notion that women are supposed to delete and deplete themselves until they're running on empty and way past fumes as a method of surviving and living is dumb. The other part, no, that's my words. That's not sweet Kathleen's words. She's not going to say, hold on. She's like, wait, that is my words too.
My words is that we've been taught love your neighbor as yourself. And we emphasis always on the love your neighbor part. we've forgotten at the as yourself, because if we don't love ourselves and take care of ourselves, there is no good love for the neighbor.
And there is no neighbor.
Yeah, those two go together. You can't do one without the other.
I know that's right. So think about what she just said. She said you cannot love one without the other. You can't love one without the other. You can't have one without the other. And more importantly, what she also said to you is that, listen to this verse, love your neighbor as yourself, right? But she's like, somehow we forgot the love yourself part of the love your neighbor part. And we just focus on loving the neighbor part, but we keep loving the neighbor. Well, who the hell's loving us? Period. Here's my message to every woman that I've learned after listening to Kathleen, actually working with Kathleen for the last 2 days in the story mapping session. This love yourself thing, it doesn't get better until you start. We don't just get older and then it magically happens. But you have to make a decision to do so. This is the wise words from the Tilted Halo.
Hello.
Didn't you just love that? Wasn't that so damn cute? Oh, I love it. Okay, so women everywhere, I'd love to know what your number one thought is. Please ask Kathleen a question. Kathleen 100% has an ungodly amount of knowledge from a strictly minister perspective, but more importantly, a lived woman perspective. And not only is it not okay, but if you don't start dreaming, then when? If you don't start doing, when? For the ministry, she said something interesting. She's like, women in ministry, they just keep getting lost in the ministry. And the word she uses, disillusion. They get disillusioned in the practice, and then they think that that's how they're getting stronger. But the reality is that that's how they're making everything around them weaker. Their congregation, their family, their children, their marriages, their friendships, everything becomes weaker. And it's funny because you're talking about ministry. I talk about just women in general, dreamers. But at the end of the day, it's almost like an altar call for all women. I do believe that if we strengthen women, then we'd strengthen the planet. I do believe if we strengthen women, then we strengthen the fights against everything from homelessness to sex trafficking to I can go to 20 topics. Because you know what? Here's a thought. True or false? I'm gonna ask you a question. Women have so much capacity, and then they're meant to serve, but they're only at 80% in those roles of giving and in the platform they have because they're not considering themselves as the part of the equation.
Right.
Yeah? Okay. Number one thing that a woman over 50 could do right now to put herself first.
Number one thing.
What's an action she could take?
Write down your own dreams.
Write down your dreams.
Yeah.
Get a sheet of paper out right now.
Start writing that down, and so that you know what it is. Actually clarify, what is it that you want?
What is it that you want? Did you hear that?
Yeah, because for me, it took time to really delineate that and really know what it was, because I was not taught to think about that.
I was not taught to think about what I wanted. Okay, how many things should I have as a minimum on this list?
At least 3, if not more.
And let me tell you, just give you a criteria for this list, should scare the bejesus out of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so last absolute words to the woman over 50 in ministry who is dancing with the idea of considering herself as part of the whole Bible verse.
Last words?
Last words.
Last words is, God created you just as much as anybody else and said you are good.
I know that's right. Hold on. we're going to have her repeat that. Wait. That Bible verse I may need a tattoo of. God created woman and said, you are good. That is so right. She just made my whole day complete. Listen to me, everybody. We're going to have Kathleen repeat that to the camera. Listen, women. Listen, the Bible has spoken. Listen. Listen, the Bible has spoken. It's right there. We're going to have Kathleen repeat this Bible verse for every man and woman out there to listen to. One more time.
God created everything and declared it to be good, and that means every one of us, including us as women.
Bingo.
We are part of God, the goodness of God's creation. Don't discount yourself at all.
Which means you can't put yourself second.
Right.
The end. The Kathleen Panning has spoken, and today has been another episode of The Tilted Halo.